Alright guys, so this will be a Steve guide on how to transition into the different Steve stances. So Steve is a very complex character. He has a lot of moveset, so it's very tough to pick him up and really go into the different things he has, right? He has so many moves, like a lot of different stances. He has the spinning Albatron, he has duck, back sway, right sway, left sway, peekaboo stance and flicker stance. So in order to learn Steve properly, you need to learn the basic. So we gotta start from a basic. This will be the first video for Steve guide. So first thing you need to learn is how do you get into the stances. So what are the two stances I'll be talking about is peekaboo and flicker stance. So your standard way to get into those two stances for flicker is back 3+4 or forward 3+4. These are the standard ways to get into the stances, but there are moves that you can transition into the stances. So we're gonna go over the different moves, and usually these moves are the top move, like the best move to get into the different stances. But before we head on into how to get into the different stances, you need to know that when you're holding back, when playing Steve, you're holding back while doing this move, we are going into flicker stance. Alright, and we are holding front, we are going into peekaboo stance. That's the first basic thing you need to know. Back is for flicker, front is for peekaboo stance. So what are the moves? Not all moves you can go into these stances, but there are certain moves that allows you to transition into these stances that you want. Some move you can go into either stances, some move only one of them, some doesn't even have the ability for you to change into the stances. So the classic and the best, I think one of the best move for Steve to go into the flicker stance is his back one. This one is one of his best key move when you want to play Steve. It's a 13 frame, and on counter hit it launches the opponent for a full combo. 13 frame. So remember, when you press hold back, you don't really need to hold back, just tap back. You can see he's inside the stance. So this move cannot go into peekaboo, only flicker stance. If you do back 1, 2, you can go into peekaboo. So back 1, 2, then hold front, peekaboo stance. This one, however, you cannot go into flicker stance, only peekaboo, back 1, 2, hold front. Alright. Then from back 1, you have another way to go into peekaboo. Is back 1, down 2. So back 1, down 2, and you hold front, you go into peekaboo stance. So you will do a high, then a low. If you hold front, you can go into peekaboo stance. Alright, so these are 3 moves to go into flicker and peekaboo stance. Very basic, just from back 1, you can go into 3 ways to go into different stances. Pretty damn good. So next we're gonna talk about 1-2-1. Usually you're gonna use 1-2-1 a lot when you're playing as Steve. It's a very good string, 1-2-1. So 1-2-1, you hold back, you're going into flicker stance. As always, back, flicker, front, peekaboo, 1-2-1, flicker, 1-2-1, front, peekaboo stance. Alright, so these are very good moves with Steve. So you always want to mix them up and use these stances, and very good. 1-2-1 is super strong. So next way to get into peekaboo is crouching down forward 1. It's a low jab. It does quite little damage, a decent amount, 15 damage. But the main thing here is his transition into peekaboo stance immediately. So one way you can mix this up is 1-2-1. You can crouch, you can duck, cancel it with down back, then you do a down forward 1 low jab into peekaboo stance. See, we're gonna go back into peekaboo stance. It's very good, this move. Alright, so we have a couple of moves. You learn back 1, 1-2-1, and down forward 1 jab. So the next move, they can transition into the stances. I'm gonna do right sway and left sway. Alright, so right sway you press 1 and you hold forward. You're gonna go into peekaboo stance. It is very safe on block. It's about -1 to +1, so you can continue your offense here, continue poking them, whatever you want, right? So it's a very strong move. Continue to harass them, pressure them, and you go into stance. But you have to hold front 1 to go into peekaboo. Alright, this move doesn't go into flicker stance. You must remember, only peekaboo stance. Alright, so the next move is left sway. We cover right sway, so we're gonna cover left sway. Left sway you can go into flicker and peekaboo. So left sway, the same attack move. He uses his shoulder to knock the opponent. This is left sway 2. You must hold front, you go into peekaboo. Next is left sway 1. Left sway 1, you hold back, flicker stance. You can do another way is left sway 1 forward 1-1 and you hold back. So you can do it like this. So left sway you do 1, then you hold forward 1-1 back. You're gonna go into the flicker stance, right? The thing about this move is that they can duck the high if they know you're gonna do this string, so you must be careful when you're doing this string. Alright, but other than that, most of the time people won't really catch onto this move, so you can use this, and it's super plus on block. So if they happen to press a button, if you know they are button mashy motherfucker, this move, after you go into flicker, you can do the armor move or whatever to catch them. So this move is pretty damn good at catching scrub. Alright, and catching decent players as well, you know. So so you learn about right sway, left sway into peekaboo and flicker stance. So I forgot to mention, you have one more way of going into the stances with the 1 jab. Is 1-1. Basically you do 1 and down 1. So when this string is that when you jab, you can press down 1 to go into a mid. And you can hold back after the mid jab, which is down 1. You hold back, you're going into flicker stance. So you can do just 1 down 1 into back, or 1-1 down 1 into back into flicker stance. So he has a lot of ways to go into his stances. So that's really fun, I guess. So another way to go into peekaboo stance is through his spinning move called Albatron. So if you do his spinning move, you must hold front after the spin to go into peekaboo. Alright, so you can spin while you are in peekaboo, you can spin while you are in flicker after a jab. You can go into peekaboo after you spin 2 times. So the way to spin 2 times is after you press 3+4, you hold up, you're gonna spin the second time. Hold down, spin downwards the second time. And after you spin the second time, you hold front to go into peekaboo stance. So always hold front, peekaboo. This move you cannot go into flicker, only peekaboo stance, alright? So from one special thing is from peekaboo you can go into flicker stance. Alright, so before we cover that, the move in peekaboo that allows him to go into flicker is actually quarter circle front 1. Quarter circle front 1, you must hold back. It is a safe move, about -4 I think. Let me check. I think it's pretty sure it's -4. Is it -4? Oh, it's -3. It's -3, my bad. It's -3. So you're still somewhat quite, you have a lot of options from here on out. This move is a very strong mid string, a very strong mid move, right? At the wall, if you hit this, you can go for a full combo, and this knocks the opponent backwards and you go into flicker stance. So this move allows you to go into flicker by holding back. Quarter circle front 1, hold back. So how do you go from peekaboo to flicker? In peekaboo, you press back 1 1 2 1. Do you see the last move? The last move is the same as quarter circle front 1. Right, so let's see it again. Peekaboo, back 1 1 2 1, hold back. It's the same as quarter circle front 1. Remember to hold back into flicker stance. So that is quite strong and is safe on block actually. Right, let me show you the power of quarter circle front 1. You see that? From just a mid quarter circle front 1, you can do a mini combo. Damn powerful. So the correct combo is this. Sonic Fang after left sway 1 1, but we're not going to talk about combo today. We're going to talk about the stances, of course. So let me think. I think we actually have gone through all. Oh, there's still 2 more moves that goes into the different stances. 2 1, hold back into flicker. 2 1, hold front into peekaboo. Alright, standard front peekaboo, back flicker. Another move is front 2 1. Front 2 1, hold back flicker. Forward is peekaboo. So you're gonna see front 2 1 a lot when you're doing the combo, but we're not gonna talk about it yet. But just have to know that most of the time when you have the option to go into stances like 1 2 1 or 1 2 1 front, you always choose the option to go into stances no matter what. Always go into stances if there is an option to, right? You don't want to just 1 2 1 and don't do anything. 1 2 1 versus 1 2 1 back. 1 2 1 back, meaning you go into the stances after 1 2 1, give you better frame advantage than just going 1 2 1. So there is no reason not to go into the stances. You must always go to the stances. It always gives you better frame advantage and better mix-up potential. So always transition into the stances if you can. Alright. Last move that I can think of that goes into the stances is front down forward 1 2 1. So basically 1 2 down forward 1 2 is a mid high jab, right? So if you press down forward 1 2, then immediately 1 after, so basically you press it really fast, 1 2 1, and you hold back, you're gonna go into flicker stance, and this move counter hits, right? So you can do a full combo, whatever you want. So remember, always go into the stances, and in some cases you will not want to, there are times where you will not use this move to go into the stances, meaning you will just press back 3+4 to go into the stances in some situations, and in some situations just gonna do down forward front 3+4, basically manually going into the stances. There are situations where this is pretty damn good, right? Because you don't want your opponent to know that you are going into the stances, so you can just dash forward them, and when you go into the stances, the move is like almost immediate, so like they can't even see you going to the stances. But other than that, most of the time, always back 1 going to the stance. There's no reason just not going into the stance, right? Always better. So keep in mind, this is how you transition into the stances. Back 1, and it's different variations. Back 1 2 into peekaboo. You have your 1 2 1, very strong move, and your down jab, right? Crouching down forward 1 jab. Basically these are all the moves that goes into his stances, so you really want to utilize them properly, right? So I'll probably be making a video on his different stances, like flicker and peekaboo stance, and how you want to use those stances, right? The different options you have. And probably I will do some videos on combos. Stiff combos are hard because of the timing. It's not because of the buttons to press. It's actually quite simple, but it's just the timing. You have to time it properly to really get the combo right. Most of the time his timing is just very tight, I would say, very tight. But yeah, he is a really fun character to play, but a lot of moves to learn, but you have to slowly pick him out, and really rewarding to play. Steve is very fun. Alright, thanks for watching. Just stay tuned for the next video. I probably will go through all the stances, right sway, left sway, duck and back sway. Alright.